Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the OCVarsity Gridiron Show. Welcome to the second round, or the quarterfinals, if you will, of the Southern Section football playoffs. I'm Dan Albano, and thank you for following our coverage. And this is a guy, Steve Fryer, that has definitely been following the football playoffs very closely. And how are you feeling about going into the quarterfinals? A lot to follow, Steve. Some really great games this week.
Yeah, excellent games. The first round for divisions 2 through 14 were stupendous. Some crazy games. Some matchups that kind of made you go like, why is Yorba Linda league champion got to go on the road in the first round and go to Ahmad of all places, Bishop Ahmad, tough place for anybody to go play, the famous pit. Yeah, and they got beat at 44-21. And then we got the first round of Division 1, the Elite 8, if you will, 4 public school teams and 4 private school teams. And it's getting better. I'm not sure if I love the new format yet. I think it's a little early to say.
Yeah,
we certainly had some great first round matches. The CIF Southern Section put out some information the other day in which the average margin of victory was a lot less for the first round. It used to be. We didn't have these 54-3 games, these 40-7 games. We had some pretty tight games. So far so good. Again, I don't like the idea of league champions having to play on the road in the first round. But if you're going to seed them, the best teams are going to be at home, according to this rating system that the calpreps.com people have put out. If you look at their projections, how they predict games week after week, not just this year, but last year, regular season this year, regular season last year, et cetera. Those guys are pretty good. They get it right a lot, so we'll see what happens this time.
Yes, and you saw one league champion go on the road and win. That was La Habra, 16 seed. Beat a number 1 seed in Tustin. So, but yes, the higher divisions, it does get a little interesting, like you mentioned, Yorba Linda.
Yeah, and you know what, Dan, and remember when we had La Habra at 0-5, 0-4, 0-3, 0-5, et cetera, in our top 25. I get a lot of emails,
sure,
and about why are they in there? I think now that La Habra went 5-0 in league and they're in the second round of the playoffs, they're 6-5. I think people forgot my email address, because they're not emailing me about that anymore. It's still sfryer@scng.com if you want to discuss it.
There you go. So let us move on to these matchups and get our predictions going here. Here's a great game to start off the week. You always like these Orange County versus Orange County games, I think. Pretty special in the playoffs. But how about Division 2, Orange Lutheran, highly seeded in that division, taking on Corona del Mar on Friday night. This game's going to be at Newport Harbor High School. So Corona del Mar coming off the Sea Kings surprised both of us, Steve, because we didn't expect them to beat Warren, but they did in a miraculous, last second exciting win. Orange Lutheran starts out hot with a victory over previously undefeated Simi Valley. Who do you have in this game?
Boy, I'm going to go with Orange Lutheran in this one, Dan. But Corona del Mar, the way they came back and Corona del Mar's team spirit always is there. They're always like this one for all for one football team. I really like them, and it's hard for me to pick against a team that plays like that. Down by 2 touchdowns in the third quarter, and then they come back and win it. 30-something yard pass to Cooper Hawk from David Razor. Jeepers. It's hard to pick against a team that does that. But and I think Corona del Mar will be happy I'm picking against them. But I got to go with Orange Lutheran. I think, even though they're 1-4 in the Trinity League, that's a tough league. They beat Edison. Edison beat Corona del Mar. Boom. Don't go against the rankings anymore, Fryer. Go with the rankings. Orange Lutheran to win.
Yes, and speaking of those rankings, Orange Lutheran number 6 in Orange County, Corona del Mar 10. I actually would have them a few spots higher. Based on that victory against Warren, I think I bumped them up to about 8th in Orange County, and that's, I think, where I would have them. But that said, I am also picking the Lancers. I think they, coming out of the Trinity League, they are obviously real well prepared, overly prepared for Division 2. And I think they have just a little bit more firepower, but I think it's going to be a good game. I expect Corona del Mar to make some plays on offense and defense, and this could be a pretty entertaining game over at Davidson Field, but we both have
And
the
you
Lancers.
will be there personally to witness this thing.
Yes, it'll be my second straight trip to Davidson Field, which I
Right.
think is an excellent venue for games, and I think it's a very good field for the kids. Good field turf, a lot of space,
Oh yeah, yeah.
and yeah, I saw Newport Harbor.
It's a good place for fans. And then you get to set up your laptop in that little tiny thin table on the outside there.
Yes, outside, as long as it's not raining, everything is
It's
good. Well, here's
gonna be
another
warm weather,
excellent game.
baby. Be nice.
Yes, another excellent game. And speaking of the Trinity League, and speaking of all county matchup, how about Trinity League versus Trinity League? It would be the Santa Margarita versus Servite #2, where you have the Friars number 2 in Orange County, Santa Margarita #4. So here it is, 2 teams in the top 5 in Orange County. In the Trinity League season, Servite won 49-21. This was a game that was marked by an early interception and a kind of a tone setter by Brock Burline at safety. Took an interception to the house about 50 yards. And this was and that was part of, I believe, a 21-0 first quarter for Servite. Houston Thomas ran for about 176 yards in this game. And, but both teams end up, getting a few interceptions. I think Servite's defense got 3, and Santa Margarita's defense actually had 2 interceptions as well. Pretty wild game. You can see after that hot start by Servite, things did tighten up a little bit. I actually think Santa Margarita might have blanked them in the second quarter, and it was decently close at halftime. But who do you pick in this game? I mean, I know Servite's the easy pick, you would say, but yeah. Santa Margarita's had a week to prepare. They're very talented.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe there's some reason do you have any reason to think that maybe the Eagles can pull a stunner?
Yeah. Santa Margarita plays with a ton of enthusiasm. When I saw them make that comeback win over Los Alamitos a few weeks back, that certainly proved that to me. But Servite, had a rough final 2 weeks of the season. They lost to Mater Dei, and they were right there with Mater Dei throughout it. I think they spent a lot of emotional and physical capital in that game against Mater Dei. Didn't have a whole lot left for Bosco the following week. I mean, what a tough, 1-2 thing to do. And then Servite gets a week off. Yeah. So, you talk about Santa Margarita having that week to prepare for Servite. It also works the other way too, right? Servite gets a week to kind of get their heads back together, get their heads focused up. This is the 3rd season, your non-league, your league, and your playoffs, 3 seasons, fresh season. Let's go get them. I think Servite comes out on fire, and I think they play really well. And I think they get this W against the Eagles of Santa Margarita.
Yeah, those are excellent points. And
of course they are.
Well, that's exactly, I guess, what Servite really needed. They needed more space between and a break between Mater Dei and Bosco, and now they got themselves a whole week off to prepare. So, and I'm picking Servite too, and I also look at this as Servite senior class versus an exciting junior class at Santa Margarita. So, and I think that's big in this game where it's the Tetero McMillans, Noah Fafita, Jacob Manu, Mason Graham against those great juniors that I think are on the rise in the Trinity League. The Jackson Potters, the Nico Lopez's, Foy, Blaine Wilson. I can. There's a lot of juniors that could go on.
Yeah.
There is one exception, of course. Hero Canoe is a great senior at Santa Margarita. No offense, Hero, but Servite's got a class for the ages. I think they're going to the semifinals. All right. So there's so much to talk about, Steve. So many great matchups. How about this interesting one? Edison coming out of you already mentioned them. Edison, Sunset League runner-up, played a great schedule, a couple of Trinity League teams, taking on none other than Inglewood. I think they've been in the headlines later recently. I think it's pretty safe to say that Inglewood doesn't mind scoring a few points, 106-0. But before we make the prediction in this one, I want to throw out there that I personally think that the Inglewood coach or staff that scored all those points, against Morningside, which I think is too many, is unnecessary in high school sports. We get all real excited, but this, about sports and passionate. And we follow the college game, we follow the pro game, but this is the high school game. It's interscholastic, education based. I think they should have given a little bit I don't know, maybe they did it behind the scenes, but I think they should have given those guys, the head coach, give them a couple games. I mean, one game, at least one game suspension. If 1 game suspension, I would have liked to seen, or if they did behind the scenes, took away some practices. So, and I know it's technically, they didn't maybe break a rule, but I think it is because is there a rule against scoring too many points? Probably not, but there should be code of conduct. There should be victory with honor. Everybody should be, those kids should be signing those documents, practicing that, coaches and players. And I think moving forward, I'm sure Inglewood will probably do better. And they won their game. I'm sure they're moving on, but I haven't really addressed it too much. But I want to throw that out there, and I sure would love to hear what you have to say about it, Steve.
Well, walk a mile in the shoe sort of thing, with Inglewood, why don't you go? They're saying we don't go for two. We go for 2 points late in that game because we don't have our kicking game. We just can't kick the football. I don't know. And if you take a knee, are you like, throw it in the face of the other guys also by saying, we don't even need to worry about you guys. We just take a knee here. Different ways to look at it, but still, you and I both coach kids, right? You and I both coach kids. We try and take care of them. And when you embarrass other kids, it's a horrible thing. Something that we always talked about, you and I've talked about before, is that, and the way that we cover young people, all these kids are still their mama's little baby. All these kids were sleeping with a stuffed animal just a few years ago. Some of them may still be sleeping with stuffed animals. So you got to be soft on these young people and look at it that way. So there had to have been a way to not score 106-0. There had to have been a way. There had to have been a path to not get there. You should have sought that path out. And so, it's easy for me to say it. I wasn't at the game. I didn't get a feel for it. I remember when Tustin used to get in trouble for scoring a ton of points. Remember?
Yes.
But Tustin was only throwing the ball 3 times a game. They put a backup, put a sophomore quarterback, running back there, hand him the ball. This is his first carry of his life. He sees an opening. He sees the end zone over there. That kid's going to go for it. He's not going to dive at the 10. He's going to score that touchdown. It's going to be the only touchdown of his life. It's going to be the athletic highlight of his life. Inglewood only had 35 guys. I heard that too. And so they really couldn't go deep in there and get those backup sort of guys like that. So it's a tough one for me in a way. I try and look at it from other people's viewpoint. Yeah. But I still think there was a path to take that. And that path did not take you to 106 points.
Yes.
There you go.
And I agree.
Everybody's rooting for Edison this week. There's people who don't even know where Edison is. They'll be rooting for Edison this week. People in Ohio, people in Alabama are going to be rooting for Edison.
Yeah.
Ingle was everybody's least liked team right now.
Well, and it didn't have to be that way. And I even threw this out before there that Inglewood was a dark horse team on the rise, having a great season. Yeah. This is a team that I saw at the Huntington Beach passing tournament. They have a lot of commits, a lot of talented guys, and I think a lot of the kids are. I hung out with them at one of their passing tournament games, and they're nice kids. And so, and the thing is I will say about it is when you say there's a path, these are talented coaches. They know football, and they can do some amazing things with Justin Martin and that spread offense and Clint Stevens, and what they can do some great stuff. And but they're smart enough to do it and not get the points and keep the narrative on Inglewood in Division II, Inglewood's rise. We're not bouncing from league to leagues. We're not 0-10. we're D2 contenders and that's all you're going to talk about. That's where, and that's what the kids deserve. All the kids that have worked so hard, that have found their home. That's what the focus you want it to be. That's all we want to talk about. So anyway, about the game, Inglewood's interesting team. They are got a bunch of Division I commits. Like I said, Justin Martin, quarterback, UCLA, Clinton Stephens, UCLA. They got a Washington State linebacker. They run the spread. They got tons of shutouts, but I don't think they have played the strength of schedule. Their leagues was real down. That Morningside team. Interesting enough, they lost big time to Savannah in a game that ended up in a pretty much getting ended by a brawl. They lost like 30-0 to Savannah. Savannah, fourth place team from the Orange League, not a playoffs things. So yeah, we know Inglewood had some issues. They were way overmatched in that game. But anyway, I think Edison, and I'm picking Edison to win, even though they got to go on the road to Inglewood's home stadium, which is a Coleman Stadium, which is all grass, maybe not the fastest track in town. But and Edison's on the road because I think they just played a better strength of schedule. And I think they'll be real coached up. They've seen teams that have big time athletes on it. Los Al's got 3 Oklahoma commits. Malachi Nelson. So they've seen a guy that's a rock star like Justin Martin. So I think Edison's gonna go on the road. This is gonna be a tight game because all reports are Inglewood's got some good linemen too. They're pretty big. Yeah. But we'll see what maybe Edison's defense could be a little quicker, and we'll see how Edison can scheme this one.
Yeah, I think they will too. Tommy Grady and company, and Jeff Grady, coach. Yeah. Tommy, his brother. How many times have I called you Tommy, Jeff, over the years? Jeepers. So, that defense, Austin Gerbic, Peyton Gregory, great group of guys. I think they'll get it done against Inglewood. I think it's going to be a defensive-led game. What's the health of the quarterback situation over there at Edison, Dan?
Yeah, I don't know, but I think they're in good shape because the fellow that came in, I probably
put you on the spot there. I'm sorry.
I know, but they have 2 good quarterbacks, and yes. One missed for COVID, and Tyler came in and did a great job. And, yes, sir. So I think they're in good shape. 2, a senior and a junior, very capable hands. So
with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Edison's gonna come home with the win. Tough field to play on, tough place, but Edison's that kind of group that can overcome a lot of things. I think I like a lot like Corona del Mar. Really like that team camaraderie action I see over there.
Yes, excellent. All right, a couple more games to get to in this exciting quarterfinal round. Here's another one that's real interesting. Also on Friday night, and that is Foothill, a team that Steve Fryer loves to pick against, as he says, taking on Serra. Speaking of good quarterbacks, how about Malik Murphy, Texas commit at Serra? This is a spot where I wonder if how many people are picking the Knights to go up there. Knights are plenty athletic at quarterback, at receiver, running back. They have good line play. And I think a lot of people are probably going to pick maybe Serra to win this game. But I think the Foothill train continues to roll. And I think Foothill's going to the semis. I think they're going to win this game.
Well, I hate to tell you this, Foothill, but I'm picking you guys to win. I've given up. You've got me on the mat, going in the towel, tapping out. I'm with you guys. Go. Foothill's going to win this game because their offense is just crazy good. It's going to be defense. And I've seen Foothill be able to rush the passer pretty good. I think Foothill's playing so well right now. They're such a head of steam going. I can't see that march being stopped by Serra or just about anybody out there. So yeah, I gotta go with Foothill. And I apologize if Foothill loses. I know I'm gonna get it from them, but I gotta go with the Knights, man. I'm converted.
All right. And what I think one thing I've heard about Sarah is we got to see they've been injury plagued this year a lot. So we'll see what their health is as well. That could be
Yeah.
a factor if they have some other guys show up. And before I leave Edison, or going back to Edison, Tyler Gioia, if I'm pronouncing his name, he's the senior quarterback who came in for Parker Awad for Edison, led him last week and played absolutely awesome. And he's a guy that they're very high on at Edison. Okay.
And he's going to play well until we're never going to forget his name again. That's what he's going to do. Come on, Tyler.
Yes. Tyler's a great kid. He's very highly regarded.
Gotta be, man. A guy who's a backup and goes out there and plays like that. That tells you all the character stuff you need to know. Guy got his time, went out there and did it. That's a champion spirit right there, man.
All right. Now, before we get to the game of the week, there's one more game on Saturday. It's a Saturday game at Western High School involving Cypress taking on Bonita. And this is a very talented Bonita team. They have a really good junior quarterback who's thrown for about 31 touchdowns.
Right.
This is looking like another dangerous game. This is a Bonita team that defeated in a thriller early season game. They beat Lucerna. And we saw what Lucerna came into Orange County last week and did to one of our top teams, pretty, top 15 team in Orange, and just thumped them pretty good. So that the radars goes up with that one. But do you think Cypress, champions of the Empire League, what's a great stat on the Centurions? They haven't lost since they lost their senior all-star quarterback since Dylan Eldridge gone out. I mean, they lost the game he got hurt in. They lost at Capital Valley. But since then, when they've had some time to prepare, they put in Matt Morrell a little bit quarterback, switch some things up. They haven't lost. Can they keep it going, Mr. Fryer?
Hey, maybe a little bit of some good coaching going on over there at Cypress, maybe, Dan. Maybe that's what this means, and also a lot of good athletes, good line play, really good line play over there. Bonita plays in that Mountain West League, and that's a good league. They got Ayala in that league. They've got Charter Oak in that league, Altaloma, all of them playoff teams. They got this linebacker, Kaleem McHale, is averaging like 12 tackles a game. Got to know where he is, Cypress. Got to account for that guy. But I think the Cypress thing is sort of like Foothill in a way, right? They're on a roll. I don't see that machine stopping. They're feeling better all the time. Their confidence is going as long as they're healthy. And this is week 12. How healthy are you at week 12? But the other team's been playing almost that same amount of time, right? Only team that probably is kind of rested is Mater Dei, that plays every other week, it seems, or something like that. Which bugs them, but maybe working out for them in the long run. But yeah, I like Cypress to keep that thing going, guy.
Same here. I like Cypress to get to the semifinals, and I concur with you about Coach Feldman doing a great job there.
Yeah.
All right, Fryer. So now the game of the week here, as we in week 2 of the playoff season, I think is Mission Viejo taking on Centennial. The Huskies are the home team in this one, Division I, Friday night. Huskies ranked 13th in the nation. Mission Viejo 35th in the nation. But this is going to be an interesting game where Diablos played their tough non-league schedule. Maybe the South Coast League, I guess, didn't look as strong as years past. I don't know how much they really got challenged in the South Coast League. I'm going to say not very much. But taking on Centennial, who, of course, did have to deal with Norco in their league. Centennial's got, they got a couple quarterbacks. They never punt under Matt Logan, really well coached, usually play awesome at home. They actually are pretty good on defense this year as well, which is not a surprise either. They're an excellent team. Got a Jordan Mickey, cornerback committed to Notre Dame. But Mission Viejo got a lot of juniors on offense, and then, they've rebuilt the defense real quick. Can the Diablos go to Centennial, win this game, declare themselves the public school champions of the state of California? Because I think that's where they would be if they were to win this game. Yeah. But then you got Centennial. I don't know if you know this, Fryer, but there's the coin flip for the next round. which will be against either probably the Mater Dei Norco winner. If Centennial wins this game and they play Mater Dei, guess who's home? Centennial. They got a lot to play for, but I still want to know who you're picking in this game.
I'm going with Centennial. That defense giving up only 10 points a game. Got a lot of good guys on the defense side of the ball. Ethan Wenzel, just a bunch of tackle maniacs out there. Gabriel, Lightfoot. They're really solid on the defensive side of things. Mission Viejo is really good. Like you said, a bunch of juniors, Samanza, Mikey Matthews, all those guys, great set of receivers with KJ Reed, Jackson Holman, fantastic player. When he catches a ball, you ain't catching him. He is fast and he is good. But I think Centennial's just got more all over the place, especially, their line play. I've been told, I haven't seen them, but I'm told their line play is super and superior to just about anybody they're going to run into. Mission Viejo, sure they can win the game. I saw them play San Clemente and beat them 45-0. I think, does that mean that San Clemente just wasn't up for it? Or Mission Viejo was really a lights out football team? Always kind of hard to see, that's a small sample size, right? But I think that Centennial is going to win this game. I wouldn't be shocked to see like Mission Viejo just open it up and heave the ball and, 20 yards here, 15 yards there, 30 yards there. But I think Centennial's got the kind of defense that ain't going to happen. And I think Centennial wins, Dan. Yeah,
this is the Valley Sports West game of the week. I checked in with Greg Biggins about this, who'll be on the call. And Greg had it as a pick'em game, either one. And I thought that kind of surprised me because I thought, first glance, you think, hey, this is a Centennial game to win. But then you start to think about that Mission Viejo defense and some of their skill players at receiver. Maybe they can make it a close game, but I think Centennial is going to win as well. It'll be interesting to see if this gets to be a shootout game because you got two good defenses. But I think Centennial is going to win, and then we're gonna get that Centennial Mater Dei game.
Right, I agree with you. Yeah.
So I think we agreed on all the games, Fryer. I think we were all picked. I think we both
did.
Olu. We both have Centennial. We both have Servite. We both have Edison.
Yes.
Foothill. You actually picked Foothill and Cypress. So
black and yellow. Let's go, Foothill.
I will not gain any ground on you. I actually picked up two big games on you last week, but so it is tight. I'm only down by 2. I won't gain any more this week, but there's much more playoffs left, Mr. Fryer.
We do. We got the semis coming up next week, and then the finals and the CIF press luncheon with my guy LaDainian Tomlinson as the guest speaker.
LT.
How excited am I for that? Do I wear my LT jersey?
Well, that would be the time to wear it. So
I should introduce him.
I would love to.
Nobody's seen that guy play more than me. Nobody in that room has seen LT play more than I have in person.
What a great player!
But you know what?
He was.
I would start crying in the middle of the introduction. I wouldn't get through it. I'd be over there sobbing away. I remember when he did this. Oh man, it's something.
Well, good luck to all the teams and all the teams. And we appreciate you guys following our coverage and checking out our videos. And be looking for Steve's prediction columns in the paper. And until next week, we will talk to you guys. Enjoy the games.
All right. Good seeing you, everybody.